Picture it. The year is 2345, and humanity isn't just part of the galactic community. We're a major player. Our military is feared for their tenacity and, well, let's call it enthusiasm in battle. After years of hard-fought campaigns, Earth's military forces are finally granted some well-deserved R&R. Where better to blow off steam than the renowned pleasure planet of Zircon 5? Zircon 5 is pure paradise. Pristine beaches, bioluminescent jungles, more varieties of cocktails than you could shake a tentacle at. The Zirconians, those gentle squid-like folk, are thrilled to welcome Earth's finest as their guests. They figure, how much trouble could a bunch of off-duty soldiers cause? Scene 1, the beach. The first shuttle touches down, and out charges a battalion of Marines, sunscreen nowhere in sight. Within minutes, it's not just a beach party, it's a full-blown war zone. Volleyball nets become gladiatorial arenas, and sandcastle building competitions escalate into the construction of elaborate fortifications, promptly stormed by a wave of giggling Navy officers. The Zirconians, bless their hearts, try offering refreshing beverages in giant seashells, which are promptly adopted as frisbees, shattering against unfortunate palm trees. Scene 2, the bioluminescent jungle. Special Forces personnel decide a nice night hike is in order. This would probably go smoother if they weren't all desperately trying to one-up each other with Tarzan yells and feats of superhuman tree climbing. The glowing flora and fauna become accidental victims as our heroes swing from vines, mistaking startled phosphorescent birds for enemy drones. A bewildered Zirconian guide, hired for his expertise, simply sits down and begins to cry softly. Scene 3, the Gourmet District. Haute cuisine has never met a challenge like this. Earth's forces descend upon Zircon 5's finest restaurants, known for their delicate flavors and intricate 12-course meals. Portions disappear in seconds, accompanied by demands for something with more kick. Chefs faint in horror as soldiers attempt to recreate their favorite earthly dishes using alien ingredients, with results best described as explosively experimental. A competitive eating contest breaks out between Army heavyweights and a surprisingly spry team of Air Force pilots. The Zirconians watch in a mixture of awe and terror, secretly rerouting all orders of the rare and incredibly spicy Glowfire route to their own private bunkers. Scene 4, the shopping bazaar. Ah, souvenirs. What better way to remember your vacation than with a bunch of stuff you will probably never use? The problem is, earthly ideas of bargaining are aggressive. Haggling turns into all-out brawls over the price of seashell wind chimes. What begins as good-natured ribbing between branches of the military about who has the tackiest taste rapidly devolves into the building of a giant, ramshackle monument constructed of useless alien trinkets. The Zirconians begin instituting a one-per-customer policy on anything remotely resembling a weapon, which does absolutely nothing to stem the tide. Scene 5, the relaxing spa. The Zirconians, bless their optimistic hearts, had built several luxurious spas specifically for their human guests. The emphasis is on gentle massages, soothing aromatherapy, and tranquil water features. What they didn't count on was the soldiers interpreting hot stone massage as a challenge to withstand the most scorching rocks available. The mud baths turn into a free-for-all wrestling tournaments, and the sound of tranquil water fountains is utterly drowned out by uproarious laughter and the occasional battle cry. A team of engineers decides the spa's complex hydrotherapy system is in dire need of enhancement and proceeds to create the most chaotic water slide in galactic history. Scene 6, the local wildlife preserve. The Zirconians proudly showcase their protected nature zones, home to the cutest, cuddliest creatures imaginable. Imagine fluffy, six-legged furballs with giant, soulful eyes. Now imagine a platoon of hardened soldiers on a mission to pet every single one. What ensues is a stampede of squealing delight as warriors vie to see who can cuddle the most adorable aliens at once. Overwhelmed creatures are hoisted into the air for triumphant selfies, showered with leftover rations, and even, in a few alarming cases, dressed up in spare camo fatigues. The Zirconian wildlife rangers do their very best to keep up, but it's a losing battle against pure, unbridled affection. Scene 7. The Cultural Exchange Night. Hoping to foster some understanding, Zircon 5 hosts a grand cultural night for their human guests. On offer, elegant interpretive dances, a symphony orchestra playing traditional Zirconian melodies, and a showcase of ancient artifacts. All very peaceful, very civilized, until an impromptu talent show breaks out on the human side. What follows is a whirlwind of terrible karaoke, impromptu stand-up routines of questionable taste, and a group of surprisingly nimble engineers performing a tap dancing routine while wearing power armor suits. The Zirconian dignitaries politely applaud, their tentacles twitching nervously. Scene 8. The Quiet Resort Zone. There's one resort on Zircon 5 specifically catering to species who like their vacations silent and solitary. Picture tranquil meditation gardens, individual bungalows for ultimate privacy, and the absolute last place you'd expect Earth's military to turn up. Except somehow they've found it. Competitive napping turns vicious, with snoring reaching decibel levels capable of cracking glass. The meditation gardens become obstacle courses. A particularly bored group starts building a massive domino chain out of the smooth river stones, the quiet click-clack echoing ominously down the valley. One brave Zirconian concierge attempts to intervene and is promptly invited to a surprisingly relaxing game of poker, with bottle caps as currency. Scene 9. The Zirconian Games. The Zirconians, desperate to channel this boundless energy, organize a planetary sports tournament. Humans versus Zirconians in a friendly competition, or so they think. What they don't understand is the sheer concept of friendly doesn't translate well to the human psyche. Weightlifting turns into a battle to see who can hoist the most Zirconians overhead at once. Synchronized swimming becomes a chaotic, water-splashing free-for-all. A surprisingly graceful group of fighter pilots dominates the aerial acrobatics competition, leaving their flustered, multi-tentacled opponents in the dust. Every event ends in a riot of cheering, demands for rematches, and a bewildering array of high fives, fist bumps, and backslaps that send the gentle Zirconians reeling. Scene 10. The Tech Exchange. In a stroke of either genius or utter madness, someone suggests a technology swap day. Scientists on both sides eagerly mingle and promptly regret it. Earthlings, eyes wide with possibility, dismantle delicate Zirconian instruments with childlike curiosity. Meanwhile, the Zirconians are horrified and slightly fascinated by the crudely powerful human weaponry on display. Soon, a group of human engineers are attempting to jury-rig a Zirconian anti-gravity device onto a tank, while the Zirconians desperately try to decipher the schematics for a particularly potent human energy drink. Mayhem is barely avoided, though the resulting improvements to various pieces of tech will haunt researchers on both sides for years to come. Scene 11. The Grand Send-Off. Finally, it's time for Earth's forces to depart. The Zirconians breathe a collective sigh of relief, unaware of the years of plumbing repairs and intense therapy sessions that lie ahead. But they'll cross that bridge when they get to it. The Zirconians try to show appreciation in their facial expressions, though their tentacles are noticeably trembling. As a gesture of goodwill, a grand parade is organized. This goes about as well as you'd expect. Floats turn into mobile party platforms. Marching bands spontaneously engage in musical battles, and what began as a dignified farewell devolves into a joyous, chaotic mess of confetti, streamers, and the loudest sing along in the planet's history. The last shuttle blasts off, leaving behind a stunned, slightly shell shocked Zircon 5. Smoking craters, traumatized spa attendants, and entire ecosystems are rearranged with baffling enthusiasm. But as the Zirconians watch the ships disappear into the starlit sky, there's a flicker in their multifaceted eyes, maybe something resembling amusement. And then it happens. A transmission blares through every Zirconian translator device, overly cheerful, almost mocking. Shock paints their faces, a symphony of muffled sobs and horrified squeaks fills the air. The message is sickeningly sweet. Thanks for the fun. See you next year.